Now that we have 4 of the boards constructed, it's time to come up with a method for testing them. The first step will be to make a general purpose control panel to make it easier to work with. First, I am measuring the diameter of each part so that I can mount them. When I measure parts, I use the thickest part of the caliper jaws so I get the outer diameter of the thread. Tinkercad works nicely, so I have always used it for my 3D designs. This will just be a quick and dirty design with nothing fancy. I'm sure there's plenty of better ways, but I usually make measuring blocks. Not my finest work. You can see that the placements are not perfect. It looks okay, but when I sliced it in Cura, the amount of filament it would require was too much. So I will need to make a smaller version with thinner walls.
I don't think I can take this anymore. I might just break. All the way heartache, 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 all the way heartache.
Now to tin the wires prior to soldering, I cut and strip the wires off camera. Tinning makes life so much easier. However long it takes to tin all the wires, you'll save twice that time when soldering them in place.
Just break. All the way heartache, 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 all the way heartache.
solder one lead of each LED, then go back and do the seconds. This will prevent overheating. Is how not to solder a wire to a push button. This is how to do it. Bend the wire into a hook. You have to be careful with cheap switches. The terminals can't take a lot of heat before the mechanism collapses internally. You will see that I test the switch after each wire that I solder to make sure that I didn't overheat it. The series resistors for the LEDs will be included on the boards, but I realised that a second resistor will just make the LED a bit less bright. Going back and adding 220 ohm resistors will make this much more useful and safer. Normally, you should not solder two wires side by side like this, as it's not strong. I should have made a hook of the wire and resistor lead, gently crimped them and then soldered them. As this is a temporary setup that will probably be scavenged for parts, I just did a quick and dirty job. The up-down switch is center off, but I needed the center to be low where the switch will be pulling the on terminals low. To fix this, I'll use inverters and swap up and down. Now, testing the first Call Latch board. To keep the amount of unreliable breadboarded circuitry to a minimum, the inputs are being pulled low by the buttons and high by the board's pull-up resistors. This means to test it, each of the three reset input buttons has to be held down, then the call button pushed. When the held down button is released, the call will be reset. Note also that there are two call LEDs. One is the LED driven off the board and the other comes from the transistor driver connected to the output. This is important as we need to fully test the boards. You will also see that one LED is dim. This is the one that's driven off the board's LED driver and has two current limiting resistors. Now that the first has been tested, it's time for the second. And the third. Next is the stock board. This actually requires more buttons than I have, so it needs to be probed. All inputs are tied low. The floor input goes to all three stop circuits, and in this test it will remain low. Unplugging any or all other inputs should not set the stop output high. For this test to be successful, the LED should not come on at any stage in the test. The LED blinking dimly ended up being caused by me touching exposed wires. The next test has the floor orange wire disconnected. First is the car call. When I disconnect the green wire, the LED comes on. Next is hall call down. The LED will only come on when both of the white wires are disconnected. And finally, hall call up. The LED will only come on when both of the blue wires are disconnected. Well, that's the first 4 boards built and tested. Now just the buffer and direction control boards need to be constructed.